schon. Scheiße, Mann, jetzt wach auf.
Oh shit. Oh.
Jesus, du, da bist du ja. Ist alles okay bei dir?
No idea. How long was I out?
Keine Ahnung. Die letzten 10 Minuten, die ich hier war, lagst du schon die ganze Zeit so auf dem Boden. Du hast ziemlich heftig geblutet, aber ich konnte dich bandagieren. Was zur Hölle ist hier eigentlich passiert?
No clue. I was wrapping up my last review and...
Dude, das war vor über einer Woche und warum sprichst du eigentlich nur auf Englisch?
No idea. Something with my throat. No, it seemed to be working just fine.
Scheiße, na gut. Kannst du dich denn an irgendwas erinnern?
Something about... a tiger?
Ach du Scheiße.
What?
Seit gestern ist irgendwie ein grüner radioaktiver Tiger in Hamburg unterwegs und der hat angefangen, Leute anzugreifen. Die haben sich dann in irgendwelche untoten Viecher verwandelt.
You mean... zombies?
Glaub ja.
How original.
Tell me about it. Ach, Scheiße, jetzt fang ich schon damit an.
So... what are we gonna do now?
Also ich habe schon mal die Tür vorne verbarrikadiert, aber... es wird nicht lange halten. Hast du irgendwelche Waffen hier?
I think so. Check the box.
Jesus, Dude, warum hast du so ein Zeug?
For a rainy day.
Right. Bin gleich wieder da. So. Viel besser.
Wow.
Damit können wir uns mindestens schon mal wehren. Aber was sollen wir jetzt machen?
Let's see if there's anything on the news.
Defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue stations. Stay tuned to the broadcasting stations in your local area for this.
Qualität hat aber echt nachgelassen. So viel zu unseren scheiß GEZ-Gebühren.
And why is it in black and white?
Und in Englisch.
But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way.
What the hell? Whoa. Easy there. It's just a recording.
That's what you think, Trump. I know you're probably wondering what is going on. But guess what? I've got news for you. It's not getting better anytime soon. You see, hey jackass, I'm giving you some advice here.
Oh, sorry.
As I was saying, you might have noticed a small influx of the undead.
Yeah, no shit. Right.
Well, if you two idiots want to make it through this day, you better listen up. I have here the means for your salvation.
The hell are we meant to do with this?
Interrupt me again, and I can show you where to shove that instead.
Right.
On these discs are the legendary works of George A. Romero's Living Dead series, and they are the solution to your problem. Luckily for you, you don't have to go through all of them, or I've got a nice little review for you to save you some time.
Oh, vielen Dank, echt nett von dir. Puh.
Don't celebrate too soon now, German boy. The answer of the riddle is hidden in one of 3 reviews. By the end, you will figure it out.
3 Reviews? Scheiße, so lange halten wir die Dinger nie im Schach. Verdammt, die brechen bald durch. Ich muss die Dinger im Zaum halten, bevor sie weitere anlocken. Damit sollte ich nicht allzu viel lernen.
What am I supposed to do now?
Zieh dir die Reviews rein. Vielleicht findest du da schnell die Lösung, von der er da labert.
Unlikely.
Wie dem auch sei, zieh das durch. Ich zähl auf dich. So, jetzt aber Glück für uns Berühmtheit.
What's up, dudes?
Well, I'm glad he's being low-key about this. Okay, you. Let's do this.
As you wish. Hello, Ghost and Ghouls. I'm your host.
Oh, Christ.
And welcome to Soul Channel's Halloween of the Dead.
Really?
Shut up, it's a good name.
Right.
As I was saying, welcome to Halloween of the Dead. This month, we will be spotlighting the original trilogy of the mean granddad of zombies himself, George A. Romero. Now, there are obviously more films of him, not only within the Living Dead series, but also well beyond in other films that I'm sure we will tackle in the future. But this day, we will only follow the original 3 films, so do not expect to see the likes of The Land, Diary, or Survival of the Dead here. Now, obviously, tackling the full films here would be a bit of a stretch, but the point of these reviews is to give a brief summary of each of the films, with some additional treats and commentary thrown in for spice. You get it? Because zombies eat things.
Ha ha ha?
He gets it.
Das wird eine lange Nacht.
The series begins with The Night of the Living Dead, directed by Romero and co-written by John Russo. The film was released in the States on the 1st of October 1968 and on the 18th of March in Germany 1971 as Nacht der lebenden Toten.
3 years later? And in March? The hell? Wait, why am I black and white all of a sudden?
Was zur Hölle?
On top of that, the film also had to pass through the German film regulatory body, which had about 3 minutes of the film removed from the German dub, lowering it down to 93 minutes instead of 96.
That's such bullshit. Seriously, why am I black and white?
Count yourself lucky. The US television version cut out about 6 minutes.
Fair enough.
The film is focused on a small group of survivors trying to survive the spreading zombie apocalypse in an abandoned farmhouse in Pennsylvania. The film addresses many issues of both political and social relevance, and is considered the main inspiration of pretty much every zombie film ever since. In addition, it and its successors made icons of their makers, their characters, lines of dialogue and effects.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
In short, the film is nothing short of a revolution, moving away from traditional gothic horror and into the realms of social-political reflection. But in order to look at this film and the rest of the series, it requires first a reflection at the zombie lore up until this point. The origins of the zombie folklore go back to the practices of voodoo in Haiti, which in turn came with the slaves that were brought from West Africa. A zombie was a soulless human corpse that was controlled by a sorcerer to perform menial tasks. Based on literature of the time, Hollywood took notice of these myths and appropriated them into cinema. The 1932 film White Zombie, starring Bela Lugosi as an aforementioned sorcerer, was the first zombie film, spawning countless visual depictions of the zombie, but always following the original construct of the master-slave design. The closest pre-Romero film to capture, at least the appearance of the modern-day zombie, was the Hammer Films production Plague of the Zombies in 1966. But even there, the traditional structure of the zombies as slaves was present. This all changed in 1968. In Night of the Living Dead, Romero did away with the previous master-slave background, though the creatures in the film are never referred to as zombies, but as ghouls, and would only take on their role as zombies in later films. This is reflected in the film's initial title, Night of the Flesh Eaters, which was changed to avoid confusion with a similarly named film. This, however, led to the film's notable accessibility in the public domain, as the copyright was still linked to the original name, hence allowing numerous companies to distribute the film without any consequences.
Sweet. Hey dude, you wanna release a film?
Lass mal schauen, ob wir das hier überstehen. Dann sage ich dir Bescheid.
Nonetheless, Night of the Living Dead was produced on a shoestring budget of $114,000 and made back $18 million internationally. So that's the background leading up to this film. But what is it about? As mentioned before, a group of survivors are held up in an abandoned farmhouse after an unexplained epidemic turns the recently deceased into monsters, seeking to devour the flesh of the living. In addition, those bitten or scratched by these monsters die shortly after and are also transformed into the undead, allowing their numbers to spike exponentially.
Was sagt er so einfach?
How you holding up, man?
No time to waste, I'd say.
Just keep going.
As you wish. The survivors are made up by Barbara, played by Judith O'Dear, who lost her brother during the opening scene when a zombie ambushed them in a cemetery. Then there's Ben, the hero of the film, and a point of controversy given the time period. More on that later. Played by the then unknown stage actor, Duane Jones. There's the Cooper family, made up by Harry Cooper, played by the film's producer Carl Hardman, Helen Cooper, played by Marilyn Eastman, who also served as one of the ghouls eating a bug, and their sick daughter Karen, who was bitten by a ghoul and is turned into one before the end.
I heard.
Lastly, there are Tom and Judy, a young couple that are held up with the rest of them, who don't last long. The story takes place over the course of one night, with the survivors trying to cope with the situation, but eventually falling apart by the third act.
If you box yourself in this cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
So what is it that makes this film so special? Well, as I mentioned before, it created a basic structure that nearly every zombie depiction abides by to this day. Romero's zombies are the living dead, feasting on human flesh. They move slowly, but also show signs of intelligence, using rudimentary tools to get to their prey, and in some cases, even kill, as displayed by Karen attacking her mother with a garden tool. The film shows the first steps into the evolution of the Romero zombies, but more on that in later films.
Why does she sound like a chipmunk in labor?
The film is a slow build, focusing on atmosphere and building up tension until the heart-racing third act. Locals from the surrounding area were used to fill out the ranks of the undead, with minimal makeup and violence suppressing unnecessary costs. But what it lacks in violence, it makes up with pure atmosphere and terror. In addition, it tackled many social-political aspects of the time, reflecting the insecurities of the Nixon-era Cold War, with the ghouls being attributed to the growing fear of communism, but also the growing horrors of the Vietnam War. Besides the political angle, though, it also tackles both the issues of hypermasculinity and domestic racism. The film was released not long after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, and well into the civil rights movement at the time. And as mentioned before, the main character Ben is somewhat of a controversial figure for a film of that time. As you might have been able to tell, Ben is an African American surrounded by Caucasian characters who all eventually fall prey to the undead, with Ben remaining as the sole survivor. That is until he is accidentally dispatched by the police the following day. A sad reflection of things to come even to this day.
Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
Harsh.
Yes, but also very symbolic. Romero denies having hired Mr. Jones based on his ethnicity, but it does seem very unlikely that this was pure coincidence. The fact that he abandoned the master-slave dynamic of prior films further underlines this. Not to mention, Romero would make a trend of featuring both strong African-American and equally strong female characters in later films. Which brings us to the other point of issue mentioned earlier: hypermasculinity. Both Barbara and Mrs. Cooper are laughably useless characters in the first film, with Barbara remaining catatonic until the third act. She does eventually help the others, but is quickly dispatched when her turned brother drags her away. She would eventually get an upgrade in the 1990 remake of the film, but in this film, she represents a step in Romero's ongoing development of female characters. In this scenario, the damsel of distress. But as the film series progresses, we will continue to see ongoing development of the female characters.
Wow. It's actually quite deep. Tell me more about... What's wrong?
Dude, sie sind in der Wohnung.
Damn it.
Will our heroes survive the zombie onslaught? Will Puzzy ever find a new cigar? And will Alex be able to stop looking at Puzzy with his longing eyes? The answers to this and more in the next episode of Halloween of the Dead.
Yeah, about that. Hey guys, welcome back to Soul, and we screwed up!
Verkackt!
Pustekuchen. Yeah, we screwed up. As you can see, out of the 3 initial reviews that we have mentioned in the review, and the 4th review that we were initially considering on doing, so Land of the Dead, you are now getting 1. Now, this has a pretty kind of long story behind it why it didn't work out, but to keep it short, we both have full-time jobs. You have stuff like illnesses coming in. We have lives outside of the YouTube channel, obviously, as well. So, yeah, we ended up kind of calculating this entire project very, very optimistically, doing 1 review a week, and then doing Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and then concluding with a big finale, a big 15-20 minute review of Land of the Dead.
Sehr sportlich.
Yeah, and it pretty much just kind of boils down to us saying, well, we probably could have filmed Dawn of the Dead to a certain extent. The problem was that we realized that that would have meant cutting down on the quality of Night of the Living Dead, and honestly, you're not getting that many reviews so far on the channel in comparison to the gaming stuff, and I thought, I really want to make sure that you guys get a good, well, at least one Halloween episode that's properly done, with all the editing done, all the audio work. As you can probably tell from the end product, we did put a lot of work into this. And I have to say I'm quite proud that Puzzy was able to join us in the review, and as you can see, get a bit of an extensive makeover.
Und ich werde das nie wieder ausziehen.
It was quite a ride, and initially we had zombie cameos coming up as well. We're going to have multiple people doing it, which brings me to something that I definitely need to point out. The reviews will come out. It's not that we have cancelled them entirely. We will do the entire original trilogy of the Living Dead films, and we are going to conclude with a final episode of Land of the Dead. We are, however, going to change it around a little bit to coincide with the other reviews that are going on in the individual seasons. So, without making any promises, we will be trying to look at a Dawn of the Dead review within the winter. So this could be February, this could be March. We'll give you some updates on that as we announce our content for the next year, because we are planning to have a bit of more of a structure in comparison to the stuff this year. We are going to tackle Day of the Dead as well, Land of the Dead, and yeah, we're definitely going to be on it. But for now, I really, really hope you enjoyed our kind of Night of the Living Dead review. You enjoyed the content we've produced so far, and I don't know, you got anything to contribute to all this?
Ich kann mich dem nur anschließen und vielen Dank, dass ihr euch diese Review reingezogen habt, und zu dem Thema, dass ihr dann informiert werdet, wann die Dawn Review rauskommen wird. Verfolgt am besten einfach den Kanal oder kommt in die Soul Crib.
And of course the same thing coming from me as well. We just launched our new Facebook page, Soul Crib, so please check it out if you haven't yet. And we are, as always, a small channel for now. So any like or subscription on the channel would be greatly appreciated. So just drop a little thumbs up, or just a comment. We would love to hear from you guys and maybe get some feedback if there's anything you would like to see in the future, because we will be producing more content. And with a few updates in our equipment that you probably might have guessed from the gaming content as well, we will be making more videos, and we will try to kind of tackle more extensive projects in the future. Just not 4 reviews in a month. And on that note, guys, thank you for watching. Happy Halloween. I hope you have a good one, and we'll be seeing you again soon in November with a review that might surprise you.
So, freut euch drauf, und wir sind raus. Und ihr nicht.
See you later.
Ja, es lief doch eigentlich schon mal ganz gut. Was denkst du? Wow!
Could have done with a bit more violence.